The materials that you will need for today's project is 2 skeins of this Wool Ease Thick and Quick. I am using this Lion brand yarn. It is a 6-weight super bulky yarn, so any 6-weight super bulky yarn will work for this project. I will also be using a 7mm crochet hook and a stitch marker. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin today's video, we will start with a magic loop. If you do not know how to do the magic loop, magic ring, go ahead and check the little link here right above, and I do have a video on how to make this. And then you want to chain up 2. Now you want to make 8 double crochets into that ring. So go through 2, go through 2, 1, and that first one is not going to count as a stitch. The chain does not count as a stitch. So here is 2. So go ahead and make 8 double crochets into the ring, and I will meet you back here for round 2. Okay, now that I have the 8 double crochets, we're going to go ahead and close that ring up. Now for round 2, into the top of the first double crochet that we made, not the chains, we are going to make 2 double crochets into that stitch. But this first stitch, we just want to make sure that we do it really tightly. So we're going to pull through 2, tighten it down, go through the last 2, make sure that one's nice and tight because we are connecting right there. So go ahead and grab your stitch marker and put that into the first stitch that you made so we know where our round begins. So now make another double crochet back into that space. So we are working at the toe. Okay, and into the next stitch, and every stitch around for row 2, you are going to be placing 2 double crochets into every single stitch. At the end of row 2, you will have a total of 16 stitches. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here for round 3. Okay guys, so this is what it should be looking like when you get done with row 2. So moving on to round 3, into that first stitch you want to place 2 double crochets. So we are going to increase in the first stitch. I'm going to put 1 and replace my stitch marker. And now I'm going to put 1 more double crochet back into that same space, like that. And now into the next 2 stitches, we're just going to place 1 double crochet into each of those stitches. So we're not increasing over the next 2. So there's 1, and then into the next stitch we will place 1 double crochet. Now into this third stitch we are going to increase, so we're going to place 2 double crochets into that space, 1 and 2. Now over the next 2 spaces we're going to place 1 double crochet into each of those. So here's the first stitch, there's a single. Here we go, we've got 1 into the next stitch, and now into the third stitch we are going to place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, so you will repeat that all the way to your stitch marker. You will do over 2 stitches, you'll do a single, well, excuse me, 1 double crochet into that stitch. Into the following stitch you'll do 1 double crochet, and into the third you will do 2 double crochets, and then you'll do 1 double crochet into this stitch, 1 here, 2 here, 1, 1, and you will end with an increase. And I will meet you back at the stitch marker to move on to round 5. Excuse me, to move on to row 4. Okay, so here we are back for round 4. Now we are no longer going to be increasing for the next couple of rows until we get to the heel. So for this portion I did a total of 7 rows with no increases. 7 rows just straight for the foot portion right here. Now if you have a longer foot or a shorter foot, you can do more or less rows. I did 7, so if you're following along with me, do 7 rows, meet me back at the stitch marker, and we will go ahead and start to work the heel before we move up to the ankle and finishing with the cuff. So without doing any increases, just placing one double crochet into every single stitch. You should have 22 stitches at this point. So you want to make sure that you have 22 stitches so that you can follow along with my stitch pattern when it comes to making the heel. As for how many rows for the length, that is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do 7, and I will meet you back here and I will show you how to start to form the heel. Okay guys, so this is what it should look like after you have done 7 rounds of double crochet into every stitch with your 22 stitches. Now we are going to start to form the heel. So where we're going to start to form the heel is over the first 5 stitches here, and then we are going to work our way back, and then we will be increasing again on this side. So I will show you what that looks like. So let's go ahead and take out our stitch marker, and now into our first stitch here, we're going to put 2 double crochets into that first stitch. Don't forget to put your stitch marker. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. So we're going to do this over the first 5 stitches. So there's 1, and I will do this along with you. Into the second stitch, we will place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Into the third, we will place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Into the following, we will place 2 more, 1 and 2. Get some more yarn here. There we go. Okay, how many have we done so far? We have done 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 1 more stitch. We're going to place 2 double crochets into the same space. 1 and 2. Okay, so over these 5 stitches, we placed 2 double crochets into each stitch. So we'll have 10 stitches here. Now over the next 12 stitches, we are just going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch. So here's 1, 2, so we're just placing 1 into every single stitch now. And again, I'm just going to do this with you. 3, 4, 5, get some more yarn. Here's 6, oops, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and here's the 12th stitch. So if your stitch count is correct, you should have 5 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then as you see here, here's our stitch marker. So over these next 5 stitches, we are going to do exactly what we did on the other side. We're going to be increasing, so we will be putting 2 double crochets into every stitch. So there's 1, here's 2. So in every stitch over to the stitch marker, we are going to be placing 2 double crochets into every single stitch. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so for the next round, after we had done our increases, we are just going to do 1 round of double crochets. So 1 double crochet into every single stitch. So this is for round 2 of the heel. So just place 1 double crochet into every stitch, no increases, and I will meet you back here for the finishing row of the heel, and then we will start moving on to the ankle portion. So right now we just had done our increase right here. So now we are going to work 1 row of double crochets. We're going to do a decrease row, and then from here on out up until the cuff, we're just going to work double crochet, and then we'll work some front post. So simply do 1 double crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Okay guys, so this is what it should be looking like once we get done with that 1 row of double crochets all the way around. Now we're going to start decreasing the heel. So over the next 10 stitches, we're going to be decreasing back down to 5. So we are going to be doing a double crochet decrease over the next 10 stitches. So these 2 stitches is where we're going to start. So yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull up a loop. We have 2 on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to yarn over and go into the next stitch. This is how I do my decreases. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so now we have 1 stitch. We are going to put our stitch marker right at the top of that. Now over the next 2 stitches, we're going to do that again. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through all 3 loops. Okay, so now we're back down to 2 stitches. We need to do it for a 3rd time. Pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next, pull through 2, pull through all 3. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, and you want to do this 2 more times. So go ahead and do 2 more decreases over the next 4 stitches. So decrease over here, that'll be 1 stitch, and here as well. I'll meet you back at the video. Okay, so I've done my decreases. As you see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches now. Now over the next 12 double crochets, we just want to be putting 1 double crochet into each stitch, no decreases, no increases. Simply do 1 double crochet over the next 12 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and do this and meet me back here. Okay, so I double crocheted over 12 stitches. Now you should have 10 stitches left from here over to your stitch marker. So just like we did on the other side, we're going to be doing a decrease over all of these stitches so that we no longer have 10 stitches, we'll have 5. So into that first stitch we yarned over, we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops, yarn over, go into the next stitch, go through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So now we have 1. We're going to do that again over the next 2 stitches. So we're going to go in, go through 2, go into the following stitch, go through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So go ahead and continue to decrease all the way over to your stitch marker, and I will meet you back here for the next round. Okay guys, so we went ahead, we got all of our decreases done. So now what we want to do is simply do row 14 to 20. You will do 1 double crochet into every single stitch, no increase, no decreases. So we just finished row 13, now we're working on row 14, so row 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Go ahead and do 1 double crochet into every single stitch across so that we're working up. Meet me back here for row 21 and I will show you how to do that and finish off your warm, comfy slipper socks. Alright guys, this is what it should look like once you have your rows done if you followed along with me and did 7 rows. Now we are going to go ahead and finish off. I don't have much yarn left. So what I'm going to do in the first stitch is we are going to place 1 double crochet just right on top of the previous double crochet. And we are going to replace our stitch marker right there. Into the next stitch, we are actually going to do a front post double crochet. So as you see, this is the stitch that we just worked on top of. So this double crochet right here is where we're going to work. So we're going to yarn over and take our crochet hook and go from the front around the back and right back out the front of that stitch. We are then going to grab our yarn and draw that up, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. I can do that again for you guys because we're going to be alternating. So then in the next stitch, we're just going to do a normal double crochet. Just like that. Now, to do the front post, so here's the previous stitch that we were working on. So into this one, we're going to go from the front, around the back, and straight back out to the front. We're going to draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2 more stitches. Now into the next double crochet, we are just going to place a normal double crochet on top of the stitch. And then in this one, we're going to do a front post double crochet. So we're just alternating the front post double crochets and the normal double crochet stitches all the way back around until you get to the stitch marker. So if you need to rewind this video again and see how to do those front post double crochets, just make sure you do that and work the pattern, and I'll meet you back here and I will show you how to finish off. Stop 1 stitch before the stitch marker, however, and I'll meet you back at the video. Okay, so here we are at the stitch before the stitch marker, and we are going to end with a front post double crochet. So now to finish off this project, we want to make sure that we kind of have it even on top. So we want to go ahead and just place a single crochet into that first stitch there. Into the next stitch, we want to place a slip stitch, just like that. You can do 1 more slip stitch if you'd like to kind of even it out just a little bit more. You want to draw up a stitch. You're going to cut your yarn. Let me go grab my scissors. We'll do that and then we'll pull it through. Okay guys, so I cut my yarn. I left a little bit of a tail for sewing in, and there you go. That is your sock. Once you put it on, it'll form fit. Okay, you guys, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, leave me a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. It really does help support me. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to put a couple pictures here at the end of the finished product. And I hope you guys all enjoy these cozy, chunky slipper socks.